Welcome to the Home and Finance Show. I'm Diana Rice-Wilkerson, lender with Fairway Independent Mortgage, and joining me is my wonderful co-host.
Hello, I'm Janis Bradley with JB Real Estate Consultants.
We are your seasoned, trusted advisors committed to personally navigating you through the home buying and home lending process. This show is designed to provide you with current and relevant information about different aspects of home buying, home selling, and lending so that you're knowledgeable when making decisions for you and your family. You can also hear us on Saturdays on Radio 1, 1310 AM, 92.7 and 95.1 FM. That said, if you're in the market to buy, build, or refinance, we'd love to represent you. You may reach us at the contact information below. And now on with the show. How are you doing, Janis Bradley?
I'm doing great. I am doing so great and just so excited for meeting our guests.
Yes.
We've met them, but we want you guys to meet them. In fact, we always say that when we have guests, you know, they're the best. Yeah, all right, so you're going to be the best today. Okie dokie.
Sounds good.
All righty then. So why don't we do this? Why don't we ask you to introduce yourself to the listening audience and who you are, what you do, and all that jazz, and we'll get down to the nitty-gritty, the elephant and the mice. We're going to get to that.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. My name is Jerome Moore. I'm a home inspector with BPG Inspections here in the Indianapolis and surrounding metropolitan area. So I do home inspections by request. A lot of times, a lot of homeowners and clients who are about to go buy a home and are going through the process. And so one of the things that's been recommended is to have a home inspection.
And you know, what I'd like to do is just kind of back up, Janis, and you talk about where that comes in your process, because that starts with you.
The home inspector does. Okay, there's no ifs and buts about it. So quite frankly, what happens, the process is, Diana and listening audience, we do have what we call a purchase agreement. So my buyers always know from the beginning, you know, pretty much the process is. But a lot of times they will ask, you know, well, do I have to have an inspection because my lender, you know, didn't say anything about it. And I said, well, as long as you're working with me, yes, you do have to have an inspection. So what I do, I help them, you know, maybe I'll give them 2 or 3 names, or because they'll ask me, I mean, can you help me out? Certainly I can. I know people like Jerome, you know, so Jerome Moore, so I can. So actually in the purchase agreement, it talks about the fact that the buyers do intend to have an inspection. The purchase agreement also says the time frame that they have to have it in. So that means that, Jerome, when we call you, you know, you have to get out there and get the report done. Right. And one of the things that we always definitely want is the buyer to be with you. And I'm sure you definitely encourage that, correct?
Yes, I do. Yes.
So yes, to answer your question, you know, if you're working with me, we definitely have to have a home inspection, even if they share with you, well, this is as is. I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. Yes, we still have a home inspection.
And why is that, though?
Why is that?
Why is it important to have a home inspection? And
well,
why do you insist? Because what I heard you just say is if you're working with me,
exactly.
Yes, okay, and why is that?
Well, I just want us to be sure that, you know, when we plug in the whatever we're putting in, whether it's the coffee maker or what have you, that we're still alive, you know. So that's one thing, because what we're basically checking, you know, the plumbing, the heating, the electrical, all those major type things of this nature. So yes, you need to go in to be apprised of exactly what may or may not working. When you're with the, and we're going to get into that a little bit with Jerome, he's going to let you know what's major and what's not. So we want to make sure there's no habitability issues, Diana. And Jerome, as you know, structural or safety. Right. That is the most important, you know, and that can cover anything, mold, you know, so on and so forth. But this is the expert that's going to help reveal any of those situations.
Excellent.
So let's take it from here. So Jerome, I'm Janis Bradley, and Diana shared with me that I need to come with you on my home inspection. So just believe that I'm your buyer, your client, because you are.
Sure.
So just share with me, how does this start? How the process start?
The process starts is we do what is called a driveway introduction as to why we're doing the inspection, what the expectations are, and what I will be doing. So what I would say is that I'll be doing what's called a non-exhaustive inspection, where I would go through all the major components of the home, your roof, your water, the heating systems, the AC, checking all the electrical, looking at all the issues and structural and the issues and areas within the house itself. Main things I'm looking for, anything that would be concerned as far as the value of the home or the safety of the home. There are a lot of different things that you can find or that may be going on that you may not be aware of, and it's my responsibility just to go ahead and say, here, I see an issue here, here's my recommendations, here's something you may want to discuss with the seller as to how it can be approached, as to whether it's something that you want to handle, or we can go through negotiations to get the situation addressed. I go through every aspect, go up on the roof, go through the basement, crawl through the crawl spaces, and the whole 9 yards, looking at everything, every nook and cranny. In the best way I can put it, I'm an investigator. I'm investigating the house to see what is going on with it, to let you know as the client, here's some issues that we may not want to address, and go from that point.
Do you use drones to see the roof?
No.
I heard that's happening now.
Yeah, they've been doing it for a while.
A lot of there are some inspectors who do use drones.
Okay.
There are some inspectors who actually will walk up on the roof.
Yes.
From my standpoint, I can still look at the roof from the ground level using binoculars. 9 times out of 10, probably what I will do is get up on a ladder and use the equipment that I have, using the telescopic lens within my camera to go ahead and see, because there are certain areas I'm looking for, and there are certain areas within that roof that it's going to be obvious.
Like what?
Well, the fact that you got some missing shingles.
Okay.
You got some separation to where there are nail pops coming from the roof shingles themselves. You got areas to where there's a valley within the roof from that point too as well. So there are some common things that go on. Now, the only issue that you may run into, as you know, there's a snowstorm coming up.
Right.
So I have to make note that I can't look at the roof because of the fact there's snow on the roof.
Correct.
But I'll make the recommendation and say, have someone to come back out there before you close to verify everything that's going on. Now, considering the fact that may be the case, I will be going up in the attic, looking up in the attic. Do I see any issues as far as ice damming is concerned? Do I see issues as far as leakages or past things within the roof and in the roof beams? So there are all different ways to look at things, depending on what's available and how we'll try to approach it.
So you made a comment about missing shingles. Is there, oh, why are you laughing? Because I'm laughing too. Is there a certain amount of missing shingles that need to be noted?
Anytime that you have some shingles that are missing, it could be from, not properly put down. Is it a major problem? No, but then again, it might be. Is there a certain number? No, but then again, too, it may be. So what I end up doing is, if there are certain areas of missing shingles that I see, I'll take a picture of it, I'll note it in the report, and say to you as my client, I suggest to get a roofer to go ahead and do an in-depth evaluation to make sure there's not any extensive damage within the roof itself. The fact that the shingles are missing or loose, yeah, you do want to get them repaired, you want to leave it like that. Then again, too, you don't know if there's any underlying problems or not. The main thing is that I'm seeing and pointing out the issue, and then I'll leave it to you as the client to how you want to address it and to how much detail that you want to get into.
Jerome, is there ever a time where you feel, like in the case with roof or maybe with plumbing, that you need a roofer or a plumber to come in and do an inspection?
Usually, if there are certain areas within the roof itself, like I said, the missing shingles, but then again, too, some of the flashing may have come loose. Because the main issue that I'm looking at as far as to doing what we can to prevent any moisture intrusion within the roof. They'll get down into your foundation, they'll get down to the rafters that will, and by the long term, cause more extensive damage to the house. Same situation with the plumbing. There, as an example, where I'll go into and look under a sink and there's no P-trap under the sink. Because a lot of times people will do homes and do yourself type situation, and not understanding that P-trap needs to be there. And the reason for the P-trap is the fact that it's shaping the P. It allows water to be at the bottom, and it stays there in the bottom of that section of the trap. But it keeps any gases and things from coming back through there. Gotcha. That could work your way back up into the sink and back into your home. So anytime something like that is found, or there's some leakage there under the sink that's continual. Some people may want to go ahead and do it themselves, but then at the same time, depending on where it is or where it is, my recommendation would be to have a professional plumber come in and make those repairs.
Right. Got it. Makes a lot of sense. So what's the average age of a roof or HVAC or electrical panel?
The roof can go anywhere from, say, 15 to 30 years. Your furnaces are usually about 20 years from that point. Usually if I come across an older furnace, but it's working adequately, my recommendation is saying that, okay, still have your yearly maintenance. It is an older furnace. There would suggest you may want to go ahead and make the improvement of it. Does it have to be now? Not necessarily, but then again too, I'm not going to make a guarantee that if I leave here, something happens and it's not functioning properly. That's why, again, I insist on having the yearly maintenance. That way you kind of have it cleaned and you're heading off a problem before it comes.
The maintenance is something that I think we oftentimes forego. I don't know why, but how important is that really?
It's important because, again, you don't want to have a situation where all of a sudden, here we are in the middle of winter, got 15 inches of snow on the way, and your furnace doesn't work. To where if they had done the yearly maintenance to the point of saying, okay, here's a problem that's presented itself, that you could have headed that off before it got to this point. Because one thing too, a lot of people, if they don't want to pay extra money for anything and figure it's not necessary, they're not going to.
Right.
But to me, it makes more sense to pay that $150 for the maintenance as compared to paying $5,000 for a new furnace.
Right.
And you're going to have to get that done. And plus, this time of the year, if the issue happens, getting someone to get out there, which means that you have to sit there maybe a week before you get someone to go ahead.
That is so true.
And correct it. So it's preventive maintenance.
Yeah.
So talk about maintenance a little bit further. Exactly what does that mean?
Maintenance is that there are certain areas within your function of your home, and especially as far as your furnace is concerned, your air conditioning is concerned.
Right.
Those who have fireplaces, same situation with that, because I'll go ahead and inspect a fireplace, and there may be a buildup of soot or creosote up in the chimney, especially when you go into a home that is relatively old and has been there for a while. And the key being is, you may have to pay the money to have a chimney sweep and inspect that. But do you want to have a situation where all of a sudden you're sitting there at home enjoying your fire going through, and all of a sudden the creosote catches fire, now your house is on fire?
Yeah.
So it's just like the situation.
So you wouldn't need the fireplace because it's on fire.
It's on fire.
So,
But it's the same situation with your automobile.
Yeah.
The key being is you have general maintenance on your automobile. You check your oil, you check your fire, your plugs and things along that line, because you don't want to be on the road somewhere, all of a sudden it breaks down and you're stuck.
Yeah, because you didn't get an oil change.
Because you didn't get
all
oil
the sense
change.
in the world. Yes.
That's it exactly.
So when you're working with a customer, and we are, let's say we're specifically talking about the furnace, so do you explain to them, okay, the filter? Now, I mean, do you happen to mention normally you need to change a filter twice a year or something of this nature?
Well, because again, the efficiency of the furnace, you want that filter changed on a regular basis. I take the cover off of the furnace.
Right.
I look at your burners, and the key being is that the burners, especially if it's a gas furnace, the burners are running royal blue, it's doing fine. But if you start seeing some yellow in there and changing of color, now your actual combustion is not working at efficiency. So the key being is the fact of having that regular maintenance on a regular basis. They had a problem off. It could be the same situation within those burners, and there is a hole that's rusted through there. Or you got moisture that's coming down through your chimney, through your flue, down into your furnace and down into your burners.
Gotcha.
Or it's not the combustion of your gases is not working the way that it needs to be, to the point now you got carbon monoxide coming back up into the house.
Yeah.
You got all these probabilities that's coming up, and you don't want to have it happen. All of a sudden, now you're stuck, and now you're trying to get it repaired, and compared, you're paying more money for it because you hadn't taken the steps to take care of it beforehand.
By chance, is there anything in particular that maybe you've noticed in the last couple of years or even a year that seems to be more prevalent than before?
Within the home, and I think you mentioned my words, as far as elephant and mice. So the main focus that I do on my inspections is generally, like I said, looking for the elephants. If there's anything as far as structure is concerned that was involve the value of the house or the safety of the house.
And you mentioned value.
Yes.
Talk to me about value since you're an inspector.
Okay, value would be is the fact that doing the inspection now, because I am licensed as far as termites are concerned.
Right.
I'll go down into the crawl space, and now there are termites there, and a lot of the beams and supports have been eaten away.
Yes.
So that's going to affect the value
I
of the
think
house.
so.
That's going to affect the value of the house. And again, it's something that, especially when you're talking about in the crawl space, you're not looking, how often are you going to go down the crawl space? Mm-hmm. But the thing about it is you won't have a situation of all of a sudden the floor drops and you didn't fall through on that, or that you're ready to purchase it and you didn't have an inspection done and you got all this damage within the foundation of the house. So the key being is, that's what I mean as far as value is concerned.
Many years ago, because I've been around a long time, but we closed on a house, and probably within, I'd say, a couple of weeks, the borrower was calling because there had been extreme termite damage in a wall, and that wall had caved in.
Yes.
And the borrower, they just didn't have a clue. They didn't know to get a termite inspection, because those are things lenders don't require borrowers to get. And going in, especially back then, first-time buyers, they thought lenders required everything that was needed, right?
Right.
And I mean, they were just simply devastated, and it was after the fact, and they were just out there. I don't really know what happened at that particular situation, but it's real. But in order to get a termite inspection, it's not an automatic part of the home inspection process, right?
No.
So you absolutely have to ask for it. Do you offer it, or do you, so if someone says, hey, Jerome, I want to get a home inspection.
Well, the thing about it is, through the company that I work for, BPG, we offer all of those services. Home inspections, termite inspections. I got a sewer inspection that's coming up in the next day or two.
Okay.
Radon, all right there, all across the board.
Okay.
Do all my clients know about it? Probably not. But what happens is when they contact my office, they'll say, well, okay, well, here are some recommendations that we have and services that you want that we can offer.
Great.
And if you wish us to go ahead and do that, then we'll go ahead and do it.
That's great.
But I think what happens is with a lot of clients, well, it's going to cost me an extra $150. Or actually, it's $75. I really don't pay that. I don't think it's that important right now. But then again, at the same time, is once you have closed on your home, the termite inspection was not done, or the sewer inspection was not done. And especially when you're talking about older homes.
Right.
There are a lot of homes that I've gone through that are over 100 years plus. Now, there are people who have made those homes ready, but do it in a quick flip way, and to where certain things have done to where it's not, I don't want to say cold, but not done properly. And again, what you don't know what's going to happen to after it happens. And the thing about it is, I don't want to have the experience of saying, well, Jerome, if you had seen this, whatever, I wouldn't have done it. Well, you didn't require me to look for it. That's all that I can do. And my main responsibility is to find issues, make recommendations, but you are the one who makes the final decision of how it's addressed or how it can be negotiated with your seller.
Janis, in the purchase agreement, is termite inspection mentioned separately or no? I know home inspection is, but is there a reference to termite?
Not on the purchase agreement.
Okay.
Yes, on the purchase agreement, but it does say would
destroying
insects.
Insects. Okay.
That's what it says.
Okay.
So that it would mean it doesn't necessarily. The way I take it, for some inspectors, some of them will recognize an issue, without necessarily just having the termite report.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
But it does say that. And I know when I first got into the business, all I was thinking about was termites. I never thought about carpenter ants and other type things that it can eat through every single thing.
Post-hole beetles.
Huh?
Post-hole beetles.
Yes.
Yes.
You don't hear about them as much.
Right.
But when I first got into business, it was quite a bit of it.
Wow.
So yes, that is written, and that's something that an inspector is going to be able to see.
So question, because I thought I'm a first-time homebuyer. So question, when someone orders a termite inspection, are you looking solely for termites, or are the post-something beetles?
What?
Or any wood-destroying insect?
Well, the thing about it is I'm classified as an inspector for wood destroying insects.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Which means it goes through as far as any kind of organism.
Okay.
Yes.
So the key being is it's not specifically termites, it's
Yeah.
what I observe.
Okay.
So the key being as far as termites concerned, as far as post-hole beetles are concerned, as far as carpenter ants
Carpenter
are
ants.
concerned, and also carpenter bees is concerned.
Oh, yes.
So
That
the key
makes
being
sense.
is as I go, because again, as I see the signs or even see the insects, that's what I'll go ahead and put in a report and say, this is what that I found here. Here are the signs of it. I recommend that you get a professional to address and address the issue.
Excellent.
Two things that I've noticed, I'm going to say lately. One of them would be raccoon droppings, things of this nature, you know, in the attic. I've been seeing, when I say quite a
Right.
bit, I mean, I haven't seen this many, but this year, last year and so, are you noticing a lot of that lately?
I haven't seen a lot of it, not as far as raccoons are concerned. I've seen some rodents,
Right.
and mice droppings, things along that line. Because I think I've seen
Mostly in the attic though, or not?
the ones that I've seen have been more so within the basement.
Okay.
I haven't seen that part as far as within in the attic is concerned. But it brings up another point too with the inspection, as far as your flashings are concerned, as far as your fascia is concerned, making sure that has been done properly done. I've seen some areas with the fascia has rotted, or you
Sure.
got a separation there right there at the overhang, which I also would note within in the inspection. So the key being is a cosmetic issue, but it's also an issue as far as any moisture intrusion is concerned,
Yeah.
but also the open doors for any animal situation is concerned.
Yes, and
So
they find a way.
They find a
definitely
way.
find a way. I'm going to tell you something else that I've noticed quite a bit, and that's on the flipping, the homes that have been
Yes.
flipped. You know what I'm getting ready to say? The flooring.
right.
What is it about the flooring that seriously, they come up and they're talking about the floors being uneven or what have you, and there was one situation that we immediately just said, okay, you're not buying this house, you know. But I mean, sometimes you've got a basement, so I guess obviously maybe there's some things possibly you may be able to
Right.
do. But you know, they're flipping,
level
so
it
do they
out.
care? So do they
Right.
care?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking. It comes up that there's definitely a level.
Okay.
So
Okay.
are you seeing that with these flips?
Well, what I'm finding out more so within the older homes. And the key
Okay,
being,
yeah, I
and
got you.
And that's where it is with older homes.
Yes, when it's been flipped.
And if you look at the foundation, you got where you have your wood joists and wood supports.
Yes.
Sometimes they're shimmed, and sometimes they're addressed, and sometimes they're not. Now, there are ways to where they can be, you get a professional carpenter to go ahead and straighten it out and put the support there. But the key being is who's going to pay the money to do that. And that's what you have to deal with. Again, like I said, having some homes I've been through this over 100 years, 120 years old. You're going to have that.
I don't want to sell that.
But
That's getting too close to how old I might be. Praise the Lord.
well,
It's
see,
open.
but here's the other point. You're probably younger than me, so
I am, right.
Question I have,
Yes.
Jerome. Again, I got my first time homebuyer hat on.
Yes.
So when I get a home inspection, right, and you've done my inspection, and I move into the house, and all of a sudden I'm noticing some problems
okay.
that seem to me, from my perspective, should have been
Seen
noted
by
by
me.
the home inspector.
Right.
Is it appropriate for me to call you and ask you about those things? And then what's your responsibility toward fixing it if you missed it?
If it's something that I've missed, we have what is called errors and omission insurance. Plus, BPG also offers a 90-day warranty too as well. So that's the beauty of my working for a national company as compared to being someone, let's say, working independently. So is there a possibility that we as inspectors would miss something? Yeah. I can't see anything really major. Beginning, it would probably be based on the quality of the inspector himself. But we all are professionals. We all go through continual training, continual education. A lot of times that I'll do, if I see something that I'm not really familiar with, I have the resource with my partner inspectors and other people that I know. I'll give them a call and say, and while I'm doing the report, does this look right? Did I miss something here? and try to go in from that. But again, as far as your initial question, if there's something that I've missed, I do have the insurance coverage from the company, and also too, if they wish to add a warranty, that can be done too as well.
Okay. So that warranty is something they have to pay for 90 days?
I'm not really sure on the details. I know that the company offers
because
it.
I know of some companies that does provide that,
Right.
you know, without you necessarily paying it. But then, of course, that's why you have home warranty.
Mm-hmm.
There's something that you were saying. I'm trying to think. I'm really trying to think. I think I've kind of gone blank.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, can you take a minute, because sometimes people do get confused about the home inspection and the appraisal report,
Okay.
particularly up front.
Right.
They've signed the purchase agreement. They don't understand, because we even use the word inspect. When we're arranging for an appraisal,
Right.
we actually use the date of inspection, so that further confuses them. We're
Right.
talking about the appraisal, but it's not, it's not the inspection. So can you take a minute just to explain the difference between the inspection and the appraisal?
The appraisal is actually going through the monetary value of the home. And to my understanding, that the appraiser will come and go ahead and do a comp of homes within the actual area. I, as an inspector, look into the home itself as far as to see if there are any issues or problems that affect either from the value of the home,
Right.
or also as from a safety standpoint with the home, making sure everything is all working properly as they should and not causing a negative exposure to the client.
Right. So you're about value. No, the appraiser's about value and you're about condition.
I'm about condition.
Okay, so on your report, there is no comment about value.
No.
Is that correct?
No, it's not.
Okay.
And I'm glad you brought that up,
Okay.
mainly because of the fact I was pulling out on the purchase agreement when it talks about if a defect is identified. And basically, they would have to, the buyer would have to say, okay, this is because this is a big elephant. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
But, and it's under Indiana law, the defect means a condition that would have a significant adverse effect on the value of the property.
Got it.
Okay, so that's when you get into who shot John,
Okay.
Type of thing.
And lock 'em up.
But fantastic questions and what have you. And Jerome, please give your number out real quick.
Okay, for coming for BPG would be 1-800-285-3001.
And you can always call us and we will definitely connect
Gladly
you with
give you
Jerome.
the number.
Yes.
Hopefully, listening audience, you've had a great time learning about home inspections. And real quick, if you're getting ready to sell your home, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, have a home inspection.
Yes, you be the first one to find out where the worms
Where the
and
bodies
germs are.
are.
Yeah, where the bodies are. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you tuning in. Jerome, thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Have a wonderful day. Take care.